see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. When I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you.
I hear babies cry, I watch them grow.
They'll know much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Yes, I
Look,
think
look up.
to myself, what a wonderful
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you.
I hear babies cry, I watch them grow.
They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you, Voices of Praise. Thank you, Richard. Today's lesson, Potential is Everywhere, will be given by the Reverend Evan Reed. Are you ready?
Yes.
Good morning. The scriptural text is taken from Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous man runs into it and is safe. The name of the Lord, if we have the understanding of the word name, the name of anything means its nature or its essential characteristic. And the Lord means the law. So the nature of the law is always absolute good. It works the same way for the beggar for the rich man. When your focus is on God, wonderful things happen. But first you have to determine what is your God. When we say God, we are referring to that invisible substance, that invisible presence that is everywhere. It's the substance that the stars, the planets, and everything that exists is made of and has existence of. So when I call on the nature of God, I am looking to the invisible to manifest the visible. We live in a world of fast-growing technologies, whether it's in medicine, in war, in all the different fields of human endeavor. We're having breakthroughs because people everywhere are getting in touch with this infinite substance that lies behind every manifestation. And it's absolute good. How you use it, it is dependent on your motivation. The same good stuff that I can use to heal my body is the same stuff that I could put in a war instrument to destroy others. Our motivation will determine how we will use this wonderful, ever-present potential. For all that God is the divine potential that exists everywhere. And every human being that contacts it could have it, his or her needs filled. Potential. The latent that could become. It's there, it's here, it's everywhere. It is no different here than there. It's this invisible, spiritual stuff, that energy that is at the center of everything that exists. And that's God. The beginning, the now, and the end. And everyone who uses it finds satisfaction. Everyone who opens his or her mind to possibility will be fed and walk away filled. That's the nature of this universe that we live in. We weren't created to be dependent upon. All of us have the same thing in us, the power to look beyond appearances into this realm of potentiality and find an idea that could save us and all of humanity. All of us can apply the same power or ability as anyone else. If one human being did it, I can do it. You can do it. We weren't meant to live in poverty. Poverty is a state of mind that comes from a belief of lack and limitation, that comes from impossibility, that comes from believing it is better over there than here, not realizing there and here are one and the same. If I cannot do it here, I will not be able to do it over there. Possibility. It can be. If I can see it, I can have it. The only thing stopping me is what I believe about possibility and potentiality. If I believe that other people can have it and I can't, guess what? It cannot be possible for you. Everything lies in that state of mind within you. You are a wonderfully made creature. A creature that can create for itself, by itself, for itself. An independent creator. Just think about it. You are an independent creator. And you have created your life all by yourself. Isn't that marvelous? When you look at yourself, you have created this life that you call you out of the divine potential that is ever present, whether you knew it or not. It is time that you begin to realize that whatever you are looking for is a potential in front of you. It is not a manifest form. It's an idea that is in mind, without a shape, without a form, that you can shape and form for yourself. You see, when we read a lot of the books in the Bible, we get the impression that God is an outside force that is responsible for the conditions in our lives. That's what we have been told by teachers, preachers, theologians. So when we are told to look to God, we immediately place God outside of us and begin to focus on the outside. Not realizing to look to God means to look within, to that spark of the divinity that is within you, that draws to you all the ideas that you need to bring about whatever you can think about. So what we do is when we pray for God to come. We don't pray for God to rise up in us. We pray for an outside force to change the circumstances in our lives. So what we call a situation that is going wrong, it's not wrong. It's an opportunity for you to do what? To turn to that God presence in you. You see, God in you is the divine potential that could become anything you want it to become. anything you ask of God or claim of God is already within you a substance, that invisible nothingness that you can put your mind to work and visualize it and shape it and form it into anything. It's a universal Play-Doh that you could shape and form with your own mind, using it like a cookie cutter to shape it and form it. And whatever you shape and form, you will have and you will experience. That's the wonderful thing about life, is nobody can shape your life. Nobody can shape my life. The cookie cutter is in my mind. If I want to make Christies, I make Christies. Whatever cookie I want, I can shape. I shape the happiness, I shape the sadness. I shape control over or give control to others. I shape all of that. All I am is an instrument of the divine, to shape the divine into whatever I think will bring forth to me what I think I desire. When I come to realize that good is all that I live and move in, when I come to realize that good is all I live and move in, that everything that exists is absolute good, something happens. I stop judging. And because I stop judging, I can just express my energy fully as absolute good. I don't spend time creating that which is not good. Because that which is not good does not exist in good. It only exists in my mind. Wow. When I realize this, I have a shift that takes place. Because I only think about the good that I have need of to experience in my own personal life. I can only use this potential for me. Can't use it for you. I can't expect it from you. I cannot expect you to make me happy. There's nothing that you can do for me but share life with me, share experiences with me. I cannot depend on you. Don't depend on me. The same substance that I can shape, that you can shape, the same substance everybody can shape, because it's all the same to you and to me. This substance rains itself down on the just and the unjust, on the superconscious mind in others. It's the same stuff. Going into the superconscious mind, but based on how you shape it, it will reproduce itself in your world, your life, and your affairs. There's only one source, one supply. And that source and supply is feeding the same thing wherever you are as divine essence that is colorless, without shape, without form. And we have the ability to shape it and form it. So don't complain why those group of people have more than you. They have discovered their ability to create whatever they want. So don't be envious of others. When you see them succeeding and acquiring, don't. Lift your mind. Open up your consciousness and realize that you can have more instead of complaining about the little bit that you have. Why not think about the greater good that you can have? Why not focus your mind about creativity instead of condemnation? Wow. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Yes. Yeah. The ability to do, to be, to become is in each one of us. And we each determine what we will do, what we will become, what we will give, what we will receive. You see, some of us still are living alone or living by ourselves, but are still living under the conditions set forth by our parents. Some parents make their children believe that they got to come home to help out. Yeah, a lot of children live with a lot of guilt. Helena. Every life force is free to be. Every life force is a channel through which maybe other life force come, but each life force is powered by the same source to achieve whatever that channel wants to achieve. For itself, by itself. We understanding that this morning? Yes. The same potential that is there for the parent is there for the child. The same God that the parent uses, the same God the parent must teach the child to use. Don't hold your children hostage. The message of Jesus of Nazareth is one that allows us to realize that power that we have. And as Paul says, learning from the message of Jesus, he said we are all heirs to the same kingdom. Isn't that wonderful? That the kingdom of potentiality, each one of us is an heir to the same kingdom. No. So if you see the kingdom as hell, guess what? You are an heir to hell. And guess what happens in hell? Hellish things. If your mind is shaped in hell, guess who rules hell? You, the devil. There's no outer devil that gets inside of you. You create your own devil. Some of our devils have horns and tails. Some of them come freewheeling. They're in every area of our lives. Well, you created it. We are heirs to what we think of the kingdom. The kingdom is either the potential for absolute good perfection and wholeness, or it could be for emptiness, for sadness, for self-pity. If your kingdom is based on self-pity, guess what? There's nobody in your life that will experience the self-pity that you experience. Huh? You ever telling someone how sad and miserable life is and they're looking at you, they don't know what you're talking about? Because they could never understand what's in your head. It's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. There's a time in my life when I did not live with the hope that I live with now. I felt bottled in, hemmed in, can't move. Because I looked outside for a God on the outside, and everybody in my life was a little God who controlled me. I couldn't do this because if I did this, it will not look good for somebody else. I suffered at work, at home, at play, wherever I was. I suffered because the forces that govern my life were outside of me. Foreign gods. See, when you let foreign gods control yourself, you can't do anything. Anybody could testify to that? There's a wonderful story found in Kings 1, chapter 28. It's about the prophet Elijah in the time of Jezebel and Ahab the king. You see, the king, Ahab, he had married a foreign woman who brought with her foreign gods. And she established foreign worship. I want you to get this. The king of Israel married a foreign woman who brought her foreign gods with her. When we go out of the realm of the divine consciousness and to begin to look outside to the land of the foreign, guess what? Whatever the five senses behold to be good, we begin to invite and we begin to form worship around them. It could be the Lexus. It could be a building. It could be a man. It could be a woman. If it's outside of you and you give your devotion to it, it has become a foreign god. Because you give power to it. And guess what? There's going to be a war between the prophets of the foreign gods and the prophet of the living God. You see, you know within you what you should be doing, right? But sometimes when you venture on the outside, guess what? The powers of the outside, once they take hold, guess what? Something in you is saying what? Ain't right. You ever doing things in what we call conscience begins to say, you shouldn't be doing that, you know. But you persist because it tastes good, smells good, looks good. It's the same thing. When God created Adam and Eve, he said, don't eat of that tree, man. But the temptation to eat is always there because that which is on the outside looks always better than on the inside. You ever had that? Hello now. So we go outside believing that that will bring us So Elijah now, he has a dilemma because he keeps telling the king, this ain't right. We worship the true God, the God of our fathers that lie within us, that I am presence that has delivered us out of Egypt, that helped us to cross the Red Sea. In other words, when we focus on that creative part of our being, we have been champions. And now we are allowing outer forces to take away our creativity. That ain't right. So a duel was called between the prophets of Baal and the prophet Elijah himself. He said, let us create a sacrifice to our gods and see which God will answer. So there might have been 100 of the prophets. He said, you all come together and have one sacrifice. Then they brought the bulls. He says, pick your own bull. I ain't telling you which bull to pick. Build your altar from the same blocks, the same wood that is there. But the one thing, we're not using no instrument of fire. Your God must send down the fire to create the sacrifice. So foreign prophets, they built their altar. They put the bullock or whatever it is on the altar, and they began to chant. They beat their drums, and they danced for a long time around the fire. No fire. No fire. And guess what? This is what happens when we place our trust on the outer. In time of true need, put not your trust in other humankind. Have you gotten disappointed from time to time when you put your trust in others? When you're looking for them, they're not there? And all the mighty words fall asunder? Hello now. When you're looking for them to bring the match, they forget it at home. Hold on now. Because nothing on the outside could bring about for you what has to take place in the inside. Isn't the Bible a wonderful metaphor in life when you see it that way? And then Elijah, he built his altar and he told his assistants, I want you to get maybe 100 buckets of water and wet down the entire altar. And then in the quietness, he turned within, and suddenly there was a big fire that appeared on his altar. With God, the ideas of creativity flow. This is all it is. When your mind is open to the divine potential, guess what happens? Ideas begin to flow how you can do it. Ain't God coming up and saying, Sajam, lightning and bada. No. It is coming from within you. The divine that is in you opens up your creativity, and guess what happens? You find a solution. This is what this is all about. You see, some of us are still waiting for God to say, Shazam. No. Ain't no Shazam here. It's your belief that within you is the ability to do all things. Through Christ in me, I could come up with all solutions when I need them. That's what this is saying. When you believe that the power to create lies within you, there is nothing in your life that becomes impossible. When you realize the potential and the possibility lies within you and you alone, I am that I am. I will be what I will be. That's how simple this message is. This message is about turning within at all times, whether it's a big problem, no problem. Once you have a need, you turn within and you find the potential, a little seed idea that you can plant in your mind and let it build and build and build, because it's all ideas. Ain't no God outside of you coming to do things for you. When you pray, believe that you have it, and you must have it. When you ask believing. Claim it. Say, it's mine, I have it, it's good for me, I have it. I don't depend on anyone or anything outside to bring it to me. And you find when you live in a state of solution, guess what? Solutions come. If you believe that it is always possible, no matter what, guess what? It's going to be always possible. If you walk and dwell in the ocean of pure potentiality and possibility, all things are possible for me. This is a claim that you have to begin to practice to make, is to realize the universe does not have to add anything for me to get it. Everything that is, that will be, and that was, is here right in front of me. All I need to do is to open up my mind to the possibility, and I begin to see the potentiality. When my mind is open, I can see. But when I come with a closed mind saying it's impossible, I can't do that, it's too big for me, stupid me, all kind of me, guess what? What you think about, you bring about. There is nobody on the planet Earth better than you. Wow. Stop looking at anybody else as having more than you. You have all that they have. You have God, that infinite intelligence within you that is creative. You have that. I have it. They have it. If one person has it, all of us have it. Ain't no separation in God, because God means one. And if there's only one, everyone is in the one, and everyone has what the one has. I don't know. This is a change in mind from that old way that my job is to wait patiently on the Lord. So I sit down here for 365 days a year. I wait. I prop my head up. I get tired, I prop the other side up. Most of us are just propped up living beings, waiting for something good to happen, not realizing the good has already happened because you are alive. And if you are alive, all the possibility to be is already there. All you need to do is to begin to see yourself in that light. And may God bless your soul.
will be mountains that I would have to climb, and there will be battles that I would have to fight. But victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. How can I expect to win if I never try?
I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Never said there wouldn't be trials. Never said I wouldn't fall. Never said that everything will go the way I want it to go. But when my back is against the wall and I feel all hope is gone, I'll just lift my head up to the sky and say, help me to be strong. Oh,
I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
oh, no, you didn't bring me out here to leave me. Even when I can't see clearly, I know that you are with me, so I can.
I just can't give up now.
'Cause I've
I've
come
come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Said I can't give up
I
now.
just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Said I can't give up
I
now.
just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. And I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. And I don't believe he's brought me this far.